definitely case by case, but if your child is in one of the younger grades, and especially, kindergarten, first, second, third, even fourth in many cases, then if it were me and my child, I would not agree to an alternate curriculum until maybe fourth grade, maybe fifth grade, because I think it really does lower the expectations for students when they are on alternate curriculum. Alternate curriculum is tied to the state testing. So third grade is when state testing starts in California. And so once state testing starts, the school has to determine, is the child going to take the alternate assessment or the typical state assessment? And so that's oftentimes when these conversations are had around alternate curriculum. And if a student's not on alternate curriculum, then they are expected to take the typical state test. And so that presents some challenges, of course, especially when the test isn't always accommodated properly, and it might be truly too advanced. And so thinking about, is that a good time then when testing starts to make that determination, or would I rather keep my child on general education curriculum even once testing starts and opt out of testing? Opting out of testing is always your right. Schools are limited by the number of parents or students that they're allowed to have opted out. So it's not something that looks good for schools when parents do this, but it is a parent's right. And if it's not going to be a meaningful experience, or if you're not going to obtain meaningful data through those tests, then it is an option. But yeah, I think when parents are encouraged, especially in kindergarten, first and second grade, to go on alt curriculum, I would definitely push against that and would not agree to that if it were me. And once the students get older, even if a child's on alternate curriculum, they should still have a standards-based education. They still should have IEP goals that are standards-based, and they should still be making meaningful progress on those IEP goals. Now, if a school is really adamant that if a child's on alt curriculum, they can't be in gen ed, then that changes things, and that, is not a legal practice, but it does change things in the way that you go about it as a parent in terms of what you are willing to agree to or not. If you're really comfortable with your IEP team, they're going to support your child, that going on alt curriculum feels right to you as a parent internally, like intuitively you feel like that is what is going to be best. It's not always a bad thing. And you can always go off of alt curriculum back on gen ed curriculum if that is what is necessary and what the IEP team deems as appropriate. And that gets complicated too, because then you might have conflicting opinions about that, and it might be difficult depending on your IEP team. But the key is to know your IEP team, know what they think, and make sure that your IEP team really knows and understands what it means to go on alt curriculum. You would think that you wouldn't have to ensure that your IEP team really knows what that means, but oftentimes you do, because usually these are institutional practices that are just in place and happen just because they always happen, or just because all kids that look like this go on alt curriculum, that's what I'm going to always do. And so you want to really make sure that your IEP team understands what that really means, what it means for you and your family and your child, what your goals are for your child in their future, what their goals are for themselves, and what the right path is from there.